went to university in Canada at the University of British Columbia, studied computer science and business, and then went on to do consulting in Canada. I worked with Deloitte. I also worked with a company called Traction on Demand, which was bought by Salesforce. My entire experience was helping customers leverage Salesforce, design Salesforce, and then I joined Salesforce. I was at Salesforce for 3 years as a solution engineer, where I was helping high-tech SaaS companies, all the way from 50 employees all the way to 5,000 employees, capture value with Salesforce. So all the way from marketing, sales, service, so across the value chain. So that's my background. And I also spent some time before starting Shell Consult doing implementation for high-tech SaaS operators out in New York, in the United States and Canada. And over the past couple over the past couple months here and years, I've been working with Georges with the high-tech SaaS segment in Africa. So we have a unique experience, a unique perspective of what SaaS operators are doing in North America from a product-led growth standpoint, and also how Salesforce is being used, but also have context as to the local challenges that firms in Sub-Saharan Africa face, and how we can kind of bridge those two things. So that's a bit about myself. My mom tells me that I talk too much, or I talk too fast. So I'll take a pause there, and I'll let Georges take it from here.
Thank you very much for this presentation, Ludzi. I think it's important also to emphasize the expertise that we can display to our clients. So thank you very much for taking the time for that. All right. So I'd like to start this presentation with a quote to highlight basically the central role of AI in the business in the future, And regarding this, seems that a good part of the tech leaders take it in account in their priorities. So this is good to know, but we can see that there's still like a large part of the SaaS leaders that are wondering what would be the role of AI today, and that's why I think it's really important to start with the basics about basically what's going on and why AI is so important. And so if we get back to the beginning, which is like the trends of the environment of the SaaS industry, we understand that today SaaS are navigating in an increasing complex and competitive landscape. There is a lot of economics uncertainty. There is a growing pressure from competitor, and so in this rapidly changing environment, innovation is no longer a competitive edge. That's an imperative. Okay, so obviously all these trends are going to impact the tech leader imperatives, right? And so what we saw is that they must find efficiencies within their business to balance the cost and the resource strain. All right, and so they are investing in AI and product innovation as a mean to differentiation, and that's had some downstream effect across entire business. From finding new revenue streams to adapt to client expectations, to improve customer experience, because you have like a lot of revenue coming post sale, so you need to basically improve the customer life cycle to increase your revenue, and teams need to work together to drive usage and revenue across the entire customer life cycle. Finally, the leaders recognize that none of these priorities are possible without a solid data foundation. And so with all of that, obviously, they adapt their priority towards AI. Okay, that's what we see basically across the industry, is that tech leaders believe that AI is critical to deliver their key business priorities. Okay, and so here you can see the different priorities depending on how many people think this is relevant. And so here the thing is, even though they know that AI is important, they're still concerned on the implementation of it. All right, and so basically in Salesforce we know that implementing AI can be difficult, because basically your resources should be spent on, product innovation and not on front office innovation, right? And so from limited time and resources to security and compliance, it's really essential to choose a technology that supports your business at every stage and deliver long-term value. So that's why, Salesforce launched Agentforce, that helps your business to basically customize autonomous agents and drive productivity and revenue. Okay, so the platform actually combines data model that is scalable, AI, and this AI gonna be able to deliver action through applications to scale SaaS customer relationship operations and allow you to basically innovate on top of that. All right. So as you can see on this slide, there is like many different advantages for that, but basically the main message here is basically that we're going to be able to scale the AI throughout your operations via a model that's going to adapt and is pre-built and put all what you need in one platform. All right. So now that we saw, the trends, the challenges, and how basically we can, respond to that, then the real question is basically, how do you know if you are, ready for AI, right? And so in that regard, we put together a journey, like 3-step journey, because we all know that we have a busy schedule. So just like this trail with 3 simple steps. The first one is about like the start, and start with your business objectives. Okay, I always have like these discussions with my clients, regarding the capabilities of AI, and they come to me and they say, we are interested in AI, but we don't know exactly what it does. So actually, what does it do? And I'm like, it can do many things, but so what do you want to do? And they say, I don't know. What does it do? And so we kind of stuck in this loop, about like asking what it does and what they want to do. And so that's why I always recommend to start with your business objective. And there is only 2 of them, right? Do you want to scale revenue or decrease cost? And from there, you're going to have some strategies that you want to put in place to respect this objective, and also some action to apply the strategies. And thanks to that, you're going to be able to identify like simple use cases to automate. All right. Once you've done that, you align the stakeholders, you are transparent about who needs to do what, the level of efforts, the change management, and the KPIs of success. And from there, when everything is set, you prepare your data, which means that you see the 3 dimensions of the data, which is how accurate it is, how relevant it is, and how available it is for your data model to feed the AI. Now, then you go to step 2, which is like integrate AI via prototyping. This is really important to be in this kind of try and learn mode, okay? Specifically, if you are aligned the stakeholders, it's going to be really simple to, improve the model via a feedback loop from those stakeholders, okay? And then you can augment your use cases with the 3 kind of AI available on the market right now, which is predictive, okay? When we call like predictive, is think about like forecasts. Generative is about like, saying that in ChatGPT and generate some emails. And autonomous AI is about, do the boring stuff for me, okay? So you prototype, you enrich, and then the next step is about deploying, okay? And you scale with governance and ethics. So, as the solution embed, frameworks and guardrails, you are able actually to really scale each of the iteration that you want to make on AI. All right. So once we see the trail, now let's get interesting for a minute about like the very first step that you need to have to start this trail. And so here are the 3 dimensions that we think are relevant for you to, take a first foot within the trail. And I'm not going to get to the different questions to consider, but basically there is those three different layers. And I want to emphasize that none of this has to be perfect at the first glance, but it's really like a guidepost to help you make more informed decision about what solution will work best for your business. Okay, so that said, I think it's time for the crispy part about the demo. But before that, just wanted to know if you have like any question on this part about like the trends, the solution, and also like the AI readiness part.
I'm curious, the folks that are on the call, does everybody have, if you go back to one slide, Georges, I'm just curious if anyone here has a strategy around AI at their firm. So at a corporate level, it could be at a department level, or is this kind of exploration, maybe from a show of hands, if you could just raise your hand or go off mute if you are, just to see kind of how far folks are on their journeys around AI readiness. Yeah, go ahead, Simon Guni. Yeah. Are you guys have a strategy?
I wouldn't say we have a strategy, but we have an AI agent in place. So we sell HR at our company, and we sell software HR. So we have a lot of like clients that have queries and whatever. And some of the things that they ask are basic questions that an AI can respond to. So we create an AI into our system so that they can answer those questions. And when it's like serious questions that an AI cannot respond to, then it will send through to like a support.
Got it.
So that makes things easier, because then the support doesn't have like a lot of things to do based on the fact that the AI will respond to those questions, and they can just focus on the biggest span of things.
Got it. Got it. Awesome. Awesome. Anybody else? That's awesome. So I think you're, maybe a little bit further in your journey. But anyone else want to share on their end? Stephen? Yeah, go ahead. Shoot.
Fantastic. Yeah, so we're a consulting firm. We assist clients with AI and decision science and data science, etc. What we've noticed in the market is, everybody has hype around AI, but in South Africa, there's a big shortage on data structure, data intelligence in companies. So, we're dealing with multinational companies that still do a lot of business using Excel. They're not even using a database. And then the AI conversation becomes quite difficult to have. So I think it's hand in hand in terms of actually, do you have a data structure, a data strategy in place, and then an AI strategy after that?
Yeah, I think that ties really well to Georges was mentioning right in the middle there. The data and infrastructure is extremely critical. All right. Well, I think, Georges, I don't know if you want to keep on this point, or we want to keep moving.
No, yeah, we can move on to the demo part.
Okay, the excitement.
Over to you.
This is going to be, thank you so much, Georges, for going through that. And I just want to reiterate on a couple of things that you just shared, right? There's, I think, a huge value, and it was a small piece, but I think very critical piece that Georges mentioned around understanding what those business objectives are for the organization. I think one of our colleagues here had shared, they're using an agent to reduce the cost to serve, saving people's time and, making sure that, when a service case comes in, it's coming in when it's a critical case and requires intervention. So that being said, a lot of the times when we complete these demonstrations, we want to help align and help you see how, this agent is going to support with team productivity, reducing the cost to serve and the cost to sell, as well as how it can be used to drive engagement, accelerate response times, and basically elevate your customer experience. So we're going to touch on these three main themes. And just to keep in mind, at the back of your head as we go through this demo, there's going to be a number of external actions where we're calling an external system. We're going to have scenarios where we're using external data sources, right, to give a response. So if you have FAQ information outside of Salesforce, you can connect to that, but also how you can drive pre-built actions. I want everyone on this call to know that, you don't, yes, you need a strong data structure, but you don't need it figured out completely for you to start, right? I'm sure the colleagues that we've spoken to have, worked on a couple of AI examples where they didn't have everything figured out, but I want to, make you clear that, there's a whole journey to it, but you can get started small. So I'm going to tell a little bit of a story because I love storytelling, and I'm going to walk you all through an experience here. So I'd like you to imagine and, really think about what the possibilities could look like for your firm. We're going to talk through how Lily, a senior executive at Omega Inc., is going to interact with our company here, NeuroSpark. And she's going to start with a, customer self-service experience from a sales standpoint and exploring different customer requirements. And then we're going to see how the leads or, Lily's inquiry can be automated and nurtured before there's even a touch point from a sales executive from a handoff standpoint. And then we'll close and end with how you can leverage AI in the flow of work from a customer service standpoint. How many people here, just so that I can make sure that this is most impactful, are you guys like more focused on sales, service, marketing? Like just a quick pulse from everyone. You can go off mute and just share, but is there any areas that you're most interested in? Or we'll just go through the whole journey. Okay, well, go through the whole journey. All right. So as I mentioned, Lily, senior executive at Omega Inc., and she's looking for modernization of their new networking capabilities. So what we'll do is, Lily, typically for most product-led growth firms, your customers may be researching, like I think we have an HR firm here, researching different HR solutions on different boards online. But the main thing you want to have is your networking solution will be shown on your Google, right? So it'll be the first thing that you see on Google. It'll pop up. But then from there, what will happen is that your team or the customer will then go to your customer site, right? So this is an example of an agent. So I want to show you that this agent actually can be deployed in many places, right? So here it's deployed onto a website. But if you wanted this agent and this experience to meet your customers where you are, from WhatsApps, text, or even within your application, you can embed that experience in multiple channels, right? And it'll all be connected to your backend, right? So just so you have a consistent experience, that is something that you can do. Now, what I'll show here is, Lily's coming in here and she wants to understand a bit more about the solution offerings for NeuroSpark. And, before you can imagine what this interaction might look like, you might be, again, scrolling through multiple documentations, looking at FAQ information that's, on the site here. But here, this agent is actually helping engage Lily, providing her with that 24/7 support, giving her responses to some of those questions around their core solution offerings. And Lily can also go ahead and, dive even further into understanding, for example, what are the, capabilities from an integration standpoint. So she can really, have a broader conversation with this agent and dive extremely deep with the types of questions that she'd like to ask and get a sense of, some of the integration object offerings here. So you really think of this as a FAQ, but even more so a product expert or product specialist agent here. Now, what I want to show you is an example of one of those external actions. So as a customer, obviously talking to an agent is great, but I might want to have a live demo or book a call with their team, right? So I can actually submit a request to book a call, get a sense of when I'd like the call. For me, it's important because tomorrow's a Friday. I want to make sure that I get this off my plate and I have one less thing to do next week. So I want to look to see if there's any availability to get a demo completed. And I know that they have 2 people that are available, and I'll go with Daniel. and let's go ahead and see what options that pop up. So what this agent is actually able to do is actually go and query any type of booking systems if you're using external booking platforms, or if you're using the native Salesforce booking platform, and actually bring the availability into the CRM, into the flow of the customer's experience. They can see where the available time slots are. This could be for service, and then they can go ahead and they can book that call, right, directly into that flow of work. Now, what I want to show you now is that, you know, from this experience, what happens between now and the customer call, you can also go through the process of nurturing the customer, right? So you can see here that there's an email that's sent out right after they've booked the call, to, you know, engage them further, provide more education. For most software SaaS businesses or operators, this product-led growth motion is extremely important. So being able to keep your customers educated, aware of the features that are available in-app, as well as additional services. So this is an example of that nurturing happening between the last customer interaction and the next customer interaction. So you're keeping all your leads warm as possible. Now we will go in to see what a day in the life of the account executive looks like. So think of the account manager now, who might be managing, in this example, we have Liam, he's managing a mid-market account, right? So he has multiple of these accounts, right? And he needs to focus on adoption, resolving issues, making sure customers are using them, getting the most value from the platform. So we'll actually see how his day is enhanced with Agentforce, right? So you'll see this screen, and I think everybody knows this screen by now. If you haven't, and I'm hoping that you're logging into your CRM, but really what you can see here is the standard metrics that you would have around managing your book of business from an account management standpoint. But what you'll notice is that there's actually a automated action and task that was generated from Agentforce from that experience, right? So because we booked the meeting, it's been scheduled, you know, I know that I have this call, and I know that I'm having it with Lily, so I can see, you know, some information about the opportunity. I can see a little bit of information about the actual customer, and I can hop right in to the Omega account, right? And is that hand up, or
yes? If you come back a little bit, that's me.
Yeah.
Just want to make a quick note for the ones who haven't seen Salesforce before. Basically, everything that we're showing you right now is so the CRM, the platform of Salesforce, and everything that you see is fully customizable. Okay, this is like a sample of different reports that we put together. But basically, if you want to change the layouts, the reports, depending on what you think is the most relevant to you, like how the thing looks like, basically you can just FYI for that. Thank you very much.
Fantastic point. Thank you for mentioning that. And yeah, you might have metrics here that might be more important to you. Maybe you focus on churn from an account management standpoint. You might have a service team that needs to see something different. So you definitely can do that. And thanks for that that note, Georges. Alrighty, yeah. So what I wanted to show here is just an example, right? So you might be on an account, and this example is just to show you the account preparation capabilities, right? So obviously you can see any past, you know, opportunities that have been on an account, any cases that are opened. But more importantly, if you're a SaaS company, you can manage your pipeline and also the renewal pipeline. But, you know, right now as Liam, I'm actually preparing for a call, right? I'm preparing for a call with this specific client, and you'll see here, I'm just kind of going through Agentforce here. So you have a widget here on your dashboard here to enable Agentforce in your flow of work. And you have a couple of actions here that could speed up the time to prepare and be effective on a call, especially if you have, you know, sales reps that are churning, you have different reps that are going to be working on different accounts. This is a really great way of getting a customer up to speed with the account. So I'll just go ahead here and summarize this account. And what it's actually doing in this example is pulling information not only from Salesforce, but it's also going and taking a ping to an external LLM called Gemini, right? So if you wanted to have this agent, enrich information from, I don't know if anyone uses Apollo, any external tools, you can have that agent do that, right? And from, preparing for a meeting and getting in front of a customer and being effective, this really saves quite a bit of time, right, from a time to value standpoint. And you'll see, some of the key information being outlined here. So that's really just the example of, what the account manager could look like, how Agentforce could be brought into the flow of work and helping them capture value from a, time to value standpoint. Go ahead. I think I had a hand up.
Yes, Luigi, that's me again. Just wanted also to emphasize that everything that you see, about the scripts of Agentforce can be personalized throughout prompts.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you want to enrich certain things, make ask the agent to, when they summarize like an account, they have to display other information than the one that we show it to you, then that's absolutely feasible.
Yeah, most of the customers that we work with, they have like a specific customer, brand or, voice. Like, you have your own customer voice. So when we actually set up these agents, both externally and internally, you can provide guardrails, right? So you might have things that these agents should not do, right? In the example before, we talked about like pricing, there's pricing that was being shown. Some customers don't want the agents to talk about pricing, right? So you can give very explicit guardrails and instructions to these agents to say, don't talk about pricing, or ensure that when a customer is reaching out regarding a severe case, immediately escalate it. So there are a few policies, guardrails, instructions that can be enabled to customize the engagement with an agent. So I want to kind of fast forward a little bit, and then we'll summarize towards the end here. Is, what does that customer support example look like? And I'll walk through this one quite quickly. But what I want to show you is obviously, the different apps that you can log into. Service Cloud is an example of how you can manage your service workflow. So as I mentioned in the beginning, you saw that was a sales dashboard, right? So now for a service team member, that dashboard looks different. Like when they log in and take a look at their day, that looks a little bit different for them. And you can see here things like SLAs, response times, the cases that are coming in by channel are all managed in one place. And more importantly, you have what's called omni-channel, right? So this is omni-channel support. So if I wanted to, just manage my entire kind of service team, they can support just email to case, or messaging from WhatsApp cases, or messaging from website cases, or from in-app application cases, or even just phone, right? So you have all these different channels that can be consolidated from a service standpoint, which is one of my favorite parts about the platform. And then, if you wanted to take a look at, I'm just giving an example for a case here. We have a case here that has a ton of information on it, right? So one thing that I want to share is it's designed to be this way. I know it feels like overwhelming, even, for someone seeing this for the first time, it can be overwhelming. But what you'll see is you have all the information that you need to resolve the case in one place, right? You understand who the customer is, what the inquiry is, if it came in from, a specific channel like email or SMS, any chat transcripts that have happened prior to this case coming in. You can also engage with the customer through chat as you're resolving the case. And more importantly, what it allows is for proactive, I think Joe just mentioned some of the predictive capabilities, but it allows you to provide that proactive support, right? So when a customer case comes in, to reduce the time to serve this customer, I can look at some frequently asked questions and actually get case instructions and knowledge instructions based on the information that's on the case. So you can see here, this is an AI recommended cases that have knowledge articles that have been suggested for me to resolve this case, and also some predictive capabilities here for me to request for a customer to thank them for their loyalty. So all of this is all kind of designed to accelerate the time to value. If you need to integrate this with like a Slack, if your team does case swarming, you have that capability. But the real value here is, reducing that cost to serve your clients, and also ensuring that your teams that are from a service standpoint are as productive as possible. Now, one of the last examples that I wanted to show is, again, I'm pulling up this Agentforce capability here, and you have this across your entire business, right? So it can follow you across the, across your day to day. But from a case or service standpoint, I want to show how, if you can imagine if you're a manager and there's a customer inquiry that's been going on or a case that's been ongoing, and you wanted to get a very clear picture of, what's going on with this case, and exactly, where is this case specifically, you can summarize the entire case. So all the interactions, all the back and forth, all the next steps, you can see all that information about the case and what's been requested. And the other thing is you can take action, and this is a very important part, is that you can actually take action to create an email, or you can take action to create an opportunity. In this example, the customer would like an upgrade, and that might be a sale opportunity. So you can then start to see how this can transition your team from a service team that's just cost focused to also revenue generating. So I can actually, as a service agent, create a case, create an opportunity for a renewal or for a service contract. And what that'll allow you to do is actually automatically provide the name of the specific account. And when you do this, you can have an option of having this automated, but this is just an example where I put that information in. I know the customer's account, and then I can put some information about it. So it's a service contract with our typical amount is $20,000 for an annual service contract, and our close date is the 2025. Just an example. So when you do that, what you'll notice is that these cases, this is able to create an opportunity. That opportunity is going to be available for your sales teams, right? So you can see that the opportunity service of this amount has been created, and it's available for your sales teams to then take on that opportunity, right? So I know that today we went through a lot. I wanted to just kind of give you a flavor of what this process could look like for your teams, and really just to summarize, we went through a lot here. We went through the entire kind of intake process, automating lead nurturing, sales handoff, and how AI could be leveraged in the flow of work. But to tie it back together, looking at how agents are providing team productivity benefits, streamlining the entire sales process, and elevating the customer experience is really some of the main outcomes that we see our customers capturing value from. And we have a lot of customers through this journey. So if you have any questions around how to get started, how to enhance what you have, that's why we're here. And I wanted to say thank you for the time there. And Georges, I think I'm happy to take a couple questions here. But yeah.
Any question, guys?
I know that was a lot. You can yeah. So I think one of the questions was, is WhatsApp one of the channels that are available? 100%. So the agents can be available through WhatsApp. You can have agents available through SMS, and that really just allows you to have that 24/7 support, meet your customers where they are. Especially, I think 80% of our customers that are in the EMEA market use WhatsApp. So a lot of them are using this. Yeah, so USSD is a channel, so that's SMS. So you could definitely have short codes being built out. I know that there are some examples that we can talk through after this. But yeah, if you wanted to kind of have some short codes USSD through an SMS standpoint, we can definitely have a conversation about that. Yeah, we've done a couple of short codes having SMS integrated as well. But yeah, I think one thing that I want everyone to be aware of is there's also a lot of innovation happening on the platform. So when you think of making an investment and future-proofing your business, a lot of the customers that we have, they are making that bet that, a lot of the security, the trust, and, the data management recovery is all built within the Salesforce platform. And the release is happening, I think, every 2 weeks. So you're always going to be benefiting from the latest and greatest without having to manage that overhead. I have customers that, ask me, should I build this myself or should I buy it? And I think for the long term, if you're really looking at, driving the most value for your company, I think there's areas that you probably want to focus on that are not around like building your own kind of infrastructure around this. So just a little bit of a takeaway for anyone, just to consider.
All right, guys, we get like 3 minutes. Yes, amazing.
Cool.
Go for it.
Okay, with us, the biggest concern has been like giving AI access to like our data or clients' data, because we work with different companies. And from that aspect, how can you like protect the data of our clients in the process of us actually innovating the company as a whole?
Yeah, and I'll chime in here, and I'll let you also chime in, Georges. But so that is the most important piece of all of this, is the trust factor. And you can imagine, we have banks, you have, large enterprises that are leveraging this technology. And it's not because, it's Salesforce, it's because of the approach that's been taken. So all your data is secured, as it would be. None of your data actually is seen by an LLM. So what happens is that all your data gets masked. So if it's customer information, PII, or personal identifying information, it gets masked before it even hits an LLM. And it just adds that context. Maybe it will refine the email body, or it will refine the actual response, and then pass it back to Salesforce, demask it. And then that's what your customer, or that's what your agent internally will see. So all of this is managed for you. A lot of times when you take it back to that build versus buy, that's something that you would have to manage. But it's all built into the trust layer. It's called an Einstein trust layer around the prompt security, the prompt risk, and it brings all that back into Salesforce, demasked, and also obviously having like toxicity detection if there's anything that violates your policies, or anything that is maybe not relevant for a work environment. So that's all managed for you. Yeah, I hope that does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. It does. Thank you.
I would just like to add to Ludi, like one thing regarding also like the relationship of the answers when it comes to clients or even group of users. We know also that obviously you need to have some guardrails regarding like the information that is shared with the clients, and basically the Agentforce incorporates those frameworks when it comes to sharing sensitive information to clients, but also to group of users using the platform, as well as we can go like into granularity of different population of users. And so sometimes you need to not show certain information to a certain group of users is feasible internally and externally. I think we have another question.
Yeah, go ahead. I think I heard a hand go up, or okay.
Yeah. No. Okay.
All right.
All right, guys. Thank you very much for attending this this webinar. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate the engagement here. I hope that you found it useful and informative. And we are available for any questions that you may have. You have our emails within the invitation, so please be in contact with us if you have more questions about what we showed today. All right. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you so much.
you.
Good time. All right.
Bye.
Bye.